Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to A Cup of Hope with the Michigan Abolitionist Project. Today's episode is titled Ethical Shopping, an Easy Way to Get Involved in the Anti-Trafficking Movement This Holiday Season. We will feature Heidi VanderWal, the founder of Crown Free. Crown Free's mission is to end human trafficking through ethical fashion and gifts. They design and sell products made by fair trade artisan groups, as well as survivors of human trafficking. We are excited to sit down with Heidi and talk about trafficking and exploitation in the fashion industry, what her organization is doing to help stop it, and how you can be a part of ending human trafficking simply by checking your Christmas list this year. As a viewer, you can participate in today's discussion by submitting questions or feedback in the live video comments on the Michigan Abolitionist Project Facebook page. You may send in your questions at any time during our presentation. We will collect those and address them at the end of our session. All right, so let's welcome today's panelists. We have Heather McGannon, who is MAP's West Michigan Program Coordinator. I will also be your host. My name is Emily Johnson. I am the program coordinator for MAP on the southeast side of Michigan. And of course, our special guest, Heidi VanderWal. As Chief Crown Officer and founder of Crown Free, Heidi loves to spread her passion for ethical fashion and empowering women. For over 20 years, Heidi has been inspiring hundreds of women to own and operate their own businesses. She truly has an entrepreneurial spirit and a heart for supporting other women. Heidi's exuberance for shopping, fashion, and pink is overshadowed only by her desire to help other women live out their own passion, their own purpose and passions. Heidi is a natural leader, focused and passionate, lighting up the world around her with contagious joy and gratitude for each day. Awesome. Thank you so much, Heidi. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We are so excited to have you, Heidi. I kind of want to be you when I grow up. So I'm glad you're on here with us.
Oh, you're very sweet.
So Heidi, can you just share a little bit more about yourself and what Crown Free is? How did this whole thing get started?
Yes, absolutely. So I am a wife. I'm a mom of 3. I'm an empty nester, which is bonkers to even think that those years went by so fast. So a little bit about my background, my history is indirect sales. I sold jewelry for a lot of years, and quite a few years ago, I just felt from the Lord like, you're going to come up with this business of your own. And so when I started having this idea for this fashion company, I was like, oh, okay, I think this is the idea. And then very quickly figured out that I was supposed to attach my business to a cause, and I knew that cause was human trafficking. So several years before that, so that was in 2014 when the idea for Crown Free came to be. But years before that, I had gone to a local church here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and heard a survivor share her story of human trafficking. And I was horrified. I had no idea that trafficking was happening here in West Michigan. I thought it was like the movie Taken. I was just very unaware of how it happens and that it was so prevalent in my own backyard. And so that's where kind of that seed was planted, and wanting to do something, but really not knowing like what could I do? What can I do? So then when this whole idea for this fashion line came up, and just knowing that I was supposed to give back and fight human trafficking through fashion, like that got me so excited. I've always been passionate about fashion, about jewelry. So talk about just blending it all together, perfect combo there. So we started in 2014. And we were in some stores to start, and then we kind of took it the direct sales business model back in 2017. So we have reps who sell our products, and our products are also found in stores again now as well. So we're just excited because when people hear about human trafficking, they want to do something, but they don't know what they can do. Like, how do I get involved? I can't like go rescue somebody or do counseling or, that sort of thing. But I could buy a cute t-shirt. I can buy a pair of earrings. I can be a part of the solution, just in how I shop. So it just gives women just such a great way to be a part of a solution.
Absolutely. And that is, hopefully that is for everyone who is listening, that is your takeaway today, that you can be a part of the anti-trafficking movement simply by what you shop for this Christmas. So it feels weird that we're talking about Christmas already before Thanksgiving, but I know everybody's got their lists going. We've started.
Black Friday will be here before we know it.
So we'll get into talking about that too, as far as it relates to Crown Free toward the end of the episode. But can you share a little bit more, Heidi, about how human trafficking intersects with your organization, with Crown Free?
Yeah, for sure. So we give back a couple of different ways. The first way is by employing survivors who make quite a few of our products. So everything in our collection is ethically made. We work really hard at sourcing and working with ethical manufacturers. But we have a lot of products that are made by survivors. So like the necklaces I'm wearing, these are both made by survivors. I'll share a few more things coming up that are also survivor made. We are made around the world. We make our products around the world. So we're just excited to be able to support artisan groups all over. And then we also give back 15% of our net profits to organizations who are fighting human trafficking in one way, shape, or form. They might be actually doing the rescuing. They might do the rehabilitation. It might be a safe house. It might be an organization like yours. So that we're just really excited because we have found that there is such a great financial need out there to do what these organizations are doing. It just takes a lot of money. And so that is where we feel called to also give back. And then just another way that we give back is through awareness by starting conversations, because women are so excited, like, oh my gosh, I love your earrings. Where'd you get them? And since our products tell a story, girls get so excited, like, oh my word, have you heard of Crown Free? They fight human trafficking. And so like it starts a conversation. Human trafficking is hard to talk about. I mean, it's dark, it's hard, it's heavy, but using fashion kind of as a bridge is just a helpful tool in starting a conversation. So we have great stories about that. It's really fun. So yeah, but that's how we get back.
Yeah. I feel like with labor trafficking too, many times it can even be harder for people to enter into or want to talk more about it, because it really does affect everything and every person. And that having these beautiful stories to go along with it makes it that much more personal, and just that you can share. Not only do I have these cute and awesome clothes, I'm wearing a Crown Free thing. I love this. It makes me happy to wear it. I love the color of it. But you guys have such fun things. But that it's more than just these really beautiful products that are made, but it's also these beautiful stories behind it that inspire and help people to want to be a part of it.
Amen. Love
it. We're so grateful for what you guys are doing. And I think maybe even sometimes it can feel like, oh, by just buying something, I am helping to stop labor traffic, or like I'm helping to stop trafficking. But it is really just that easy, that just by what you're choosing to purchase, you are helping. So
absolutely.
On that note, Heather, so labor trafficking, for anyone tuning in with us, human trafficking, whenever we hear about human trafficking, we always hear and learn about the sex trafficking side of things. Labor trafficking, we always think it's not as common. That's not happening in Michigan or so. Let's take just a second to kind of unpack labor trafficking. I'll share the definition, and then Heather, maybe you can explain a bit more, like the different types, how it happens, just some more details about labor trafficking. So in the United States, the Trafficking Victims Protection Act of 2000, or the TVPA, defines labor trafficking as the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, or obtaining of a person for labor or services through the use of force, fraud, or coercion for the purpose of subjection to involuntary servitude, peonage, debt bondage, or slavery. In other words, it is when individuals perform labor or services through the use of force, fraud, or coercion. They're being forced to work for little to no pay, and there's all types of ways that looks like. Before I get Heather, would you want to get into that?
Sure.
All right, cool.
Yeah. And I just, as with any time we're talking about trafficking, the way that you know that something is trafficking is through that force, fraud, or coercion. That has to be present. And so when we're talking about labor trafficking, some of the common ways that we hear about it in the United States would be domestic servitude, through farm workers. We have talked a lot about migrant workers in the US as harvesting crops, especially in Michigan, especially for Heidi and I on the west side of the state here. Some other things that have received national news would be children who are forced to work in cocoa fields. Many times the forced labor, or especially child labor, we see in that base level part of supply chains. For in fashion, specifically with textile industry, we might see it for garment factory workers who might be held in inhumane conditions with little or no pay, who are threatened if they leave, or maybe they feel like they can't leave because they have so many back wages that they haven't received yet. And that I think the Rana Plaza disaster in I think it was 2013 or 2014 that really brought that globally front and center, seeing just the conditions that many of these garment workers are working in, and also that many times they are force, fraud, or coercion is involved there to make it trafficking. I think a lot of people, just like when we talk about sex trafficking, a lot of people think that it's the force piece of it, that they're kidnapped or they're physically hurt or whatever. But usually, I mean, we always talk about this. Traffickers are smart, and they know what they're doing. And so typically the way that we see trafficking happen and people in their situations of labor trafficking is through that fraud or coercion, that maybe
tricking them.
That they are tricked into the situations that they're in. So that could look like maybe the trafficker is a third-party recruiter for a larger company, and we'll just use the U.S. as an example, but for a company. And so this trafficker, who's a recruiter, will go to usually an impoverished area in another country and offer a great job. Offer, if you work in the US for this growing season, here you can make enough money to support your family for the entire year if you just come, or for 5 years or whatever it is. Here is the number that you're going to make. And we'll take care of you. You'll incur a debt to us for the travel and the expenses of getting you here. And once you pay that off, then you will be making this money that you can send home to your family. Debt bondage is a really huge way that we see trafficking happen. And so typically then that person will come to the United States and they will come with this large debt, and then many times more expenses will be added onto that. And
paid what they were promised.
Right. They aren't paid what they're promised. They're required to many times work maybe more than they were told. Maybe they are working 20 hours a day, or their food might be restricted, or the living conditions that they're given. Yeah. And so now this doesn't happen with every farmer, every farm, anything. But when we talk about labor trafficking, that's typically how we see it.
And you mentioned the United States, but it's not just the United States that does that. I mean, that also happened in Qatar with the building of the World Cup, the stadium. I mean, it happens in all countries. They're recruiting migrant workers to work for them. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. That's good. You're right. Yes. And so when we talk, so that's, I mean, just some examples of what it can look like. When we're talking about the actual traffickers, they are typically business owners. And so they can be, on your large scale, large company, large factory. They could be just a small family business. And so, but typically, it will be either the owner, the manager, maybe a recruiter is the actual we've had situations here in the US where the owners of the company don't even realize that they have hired people who are being trafficked, because they use a third-party recruiter. So
far down on the supply chain. Yeah.
Yeah. And they can also be, the traffickers can also be a part of the family of those that they are trafficking, or legal guardians. They could be parents, spouses, intimate partners. Familial trafficking is larger than we're realizing. It is a larger problem than we have researched. And so there is a lot coming out about that. But
what is Heather, what is the scope? Like how many people are actually trafficked worldwide? What are we talking here?
Yeah. So the Global Modern Slavery Report just came out. They release it every 5 years. And so just in September, they released the new Global Modern Slavery Estimates, or that's not the exact title of it, but if you were to Google those words, you would find it. But the International Labor Organization, there are 3 partner organizations that do it. And it is the report that all of us human trafficking organizations use to understand the scope and statistics, the estimates of statistics around the world. And so
estimates. You can never have a total number of.
Yeah. And I guess the sad part is, and the reality is, I was on the webinar where they released this, and, they estimate low. It's probably a larger problem than this. But what the newest number that they have come out with is that there are around 28 million people who are in situations of forced labor worldwide. And so that includes children and adults. And so on any given day, this translates to 3.5 people in forced labor for every 1,000 people in the world. So if you go to, I don't know, the big house, you've got 3.5. I mean, just to, think about it in our terms there, for every 1,000 people that are there, 3.5 people in the world globally are in forced labor. Women and girls make up 11.8 million of the total that are in forced labor, and about 3.3 million of those are children. So the numbers are they actually have gone up since the last 5 years. And so it was a hard report to receive and read, and but grateful. I think we need to sit with the reality of that there are almost 28 million people who are in forced labor right now as we're talking. And also be reminded of the good things that people are doing, that there are good things that are happening. And that's why we have Heidi on here with us to remind us of that and give us that cup of hope that we need when we talk about trafficking.
Absolutely. Thank you, Heather.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great recap. Thank you. Thank you. So how does this all relate to the products that we purchase? So we talked about like the garment industry and agriculture and factories. So what is that? That has to do with, you know, consumers are a part of that chain as well. So what role do we play in this issue?
Yeah. Heidi, you want to, what role do you see as us playing in this?
Well, I mean, as a consumer, you know, we're definitely a part of the problem. We're a big part of the problem. You know, if we're purchasing products that are made, you know, through forced labor or through, you know, any form of coercion there, you know, then unfortunately, we are consumers of that. So we are part of the problem. So then it's figuring out, okay, how do we become part of the solution? How do we flip that on its head, right? So that's the key right there.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. When it really comes down to it, when we think about how does this relate to the products that we purchase, and when we look at reports and research that has been done, we see that, there is an alarming number of people who make our products, who are being exploited, who are trafficking victims. And I always, whenever I'm talking about the fact that we live in a world that is so globally connected in many ways is a beautiful thing. And I'm excited, Heidi, for you to talk a little bit more about how it is really cool in bringing restoration in fashion. But like, I think about, I have a brother that lives in Cambodia, and my niece and nephew, like I can FaceTime them and still see them growing up. And I love that about how we can be globally connected. And when it comes to the fashion industry, we have these global supply chains that sometimes can involve so many different companies and people, that it can be hard to trace even where exploitation and trafficking are a part of that supply chain. And I mean, that is right. The goal of all trafficking, of all traffickers, is that it is as hidden as possible, and that it thrives in the shadows, and that we're not thinking about, what was it in that report? The cobalt. I think it was the cobalt that they're using in electric cars.
Horrifying.
Yeah. So I was just pulling this up. There's the Department of Labor produces a list of goods produced by child and forced labor. And so let's see here. They're just saying on here, their 2022 list, they have 158 goods from 77 companies or 77 countries that are that we're seeing are very high risk, or actually are produced by child labor or forced labor. I think one that we've seen in the news very recently and is still there is what's going on in China with the Uyghur people. And thankfully, the U.S. has done really a huge, monumental thing by putting the Uyghur Forced Labor Protection Act in, where it is incredibly hard for anything that's produced from that region to be brought into the United States. They have to prove, like almost beyond the shadow of a doubt, that there is no forced labor that has been put in these products. And I mean, there's they have sent shipments away. And I think that has put it front and center for us to realize as Americans, forced labor is really happening. We are really, goods are really being brought here that are actually made by people who are forced to make these goods, to make the clothes that we buy, to make the tomatoes was one.
Imagine if they put that stop on like all products made with slave labor. Like what would we be left with? It's kind of scary to think about. We really don't know. Yeah, thank you for that, Heather. That's one other thing I would mention is that we as consumers create that demand. So a lot of times we want cheaper products, we want more affordable products. It's, it's easy to get things from the dollar store and Walmart, and but if you're only paying $1 for something or $2 for something, you got to think about, everything at some point was made by somebody. So who is the person at the end of that supply chain, and how much are they getting paid to make that product? So the cheaper that you pay for things, the more likely it is that people that made it are not being paid adequately for their work.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I mean, if I'm getting a shirt for $1, how much is the person who sewed it getting for making it? So yeah, just things for us to be thinking about. I mean, okay, so this is, I feel like, we just spent 10 minutes talking about, is there, like all of these goods that are potentially produced by forced labor. Heidi, are there ways that we can make sure that the products that we're buying are made ethically, that they are made without exploitation?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think for me, how I like, if I'm shopping, if I'm on a website, if a brand it's an ethical brand, they're going to talk about it. They're going to say something on their website. It's going to be under their About Us, under their mission statement. They're going to be very transparent. And so that's what I look for, and I'm always looking for new brands, new stores to shop with. And so that's what I look for when I am shopping, to just at least do my best. And I like shop at stores that I know everything in those stores are ethical. The products are ethical. So finding a local boutique, finding an online boutique that okay, they are doing their due diligence and they're only supporting artisan groups that are ethical, then that's a great place to shop and to use your purchasing power to make an impact. So for me, that's how I go about it. It's usually because most every store now has, they've got websites, they've got Facebook pages, they've got social media. And if they're all about it, they're talking about it.
Right.
So that's where you want to spend your time and your money.
Yeah. I was even just noticing, well, I didn't notice this when I picked it up, but then when I brought it home, I was pulling out, like, to put in the refrigerator, the yogurt that I got, and Chobani now has like a fair trade certification.
Love it.
I was like, hey, so my husband was there. I was like, look at this, Chobani.
So
but yeah, I get excited when I see, those products that I buy, every day, that now it's, like they're putting it on their product. They're showing, we care about this. We care enough to spend the money to put this label on our, to show you all that we really care about this. And so, so that fair trade certification is also another one that is a hard certification, I guess, to Heidi, you might be able to.
Yeah, it's very expensive, especially if it's a small artisan group. So like some of our small artisan groups, they don't have it because they can't afford to get it.
Absolutely right.
It might be a husband and wife. Like we have a husband and wife team in Indonesia. They make, these bracelets for us, our Unity bracelet, one of our top sellers. But they don't have the finances to get a fair trade certification necessarily. And we want to support those you know, small groups in these remote villages, that this work is essential, you know, and so, or the mountains of Peru where, you know, they don't even have cell phones or computers. And so to go through that sort of certification, it's tough unless they're a bigger organization.
Yeah. And so, and then that's where we can, hop on the internet and go to a website like yours and see, maybe they don't have the certification, but you know who they are. And
we put pictures, we put as much about their stories and, you know, to communicate who this artisan is and who you're supporting through your purchase. So
how do you find those people, Heidi?
That's a great question. That's a question it's one of our top questions. A lot of it is word of mouth. Or like, hey, my church supports this organization in Guatemala. You know, they make this product. Okay, amazing. Let's check them out. Or it might be a group that I work with and I'll ask like, hey, do you have a source for leather handbags? Do you know anybody in your village that could do that? Oh yeah, I do. So then they'll connect me, you know, with a different organization. So a lot of it is word of mouth. Definitely some Googling happening, you know, looking for fair trade, ethical manufacturers. But I would say most of it is through word of mouth, people who have actually been there, met the people. I did go to a fair trade ethical show in New York City with my husband and met a couple of our artisan groups there. So I was able to, even though from South Africa, I was able to meet them in person. From Ethiopia, could meet her in person, which is fantastic. So, but it's a lot of work because you want to do that due diligence to make sure that
the vetting process and
right. Yeah. So, okay, you mentioned this couple from Indonesia. Can you tell us some more? Sure. Tell us more about some of your groups and give us those stories to connect us to those products.
For sure. So one of our most popular product lines is our candles. So we developed a program with Wedgwood Christian Services here in West Michigan, and they make our candles. So these are survivors. These girls are ages 13 to 17. And so I taught myself how to make candles in my kitchen. I do more crafting in my kitchen than cooking. But so taught myself to make candles and then went in and taught them how to make candles. And so these girls are precious. There are some young men that also work on them, at-risk youth. So that does include some boys. So survivors and at-risk youth make our candles. So for example, here's backwards here. This is one of our new holiday candles. I wish you could smell it because it's just amazing. It's peppermint latte.
That sounds amazing.
It's so good. Yeah, when I was putting this set together, I was having a lot of fun with that one. But so, and then the whoever worked on the candle, they are all signed by their maker, so their initials, which is really fun. The kids are so proud of these. It's fun. They all have different parts of the project that they like the best. You know, these kids come in, some have never used a scissors before. You know, so to see the confidence building as they're learning to make these products and to take ownership if they mess something up, if they put labels on upside down. You know, we have a little candle graveyard where if we resurrect them, that's great. If not, you know, it's a learning process. So I like to go to that pile. I'll burn those at home. Nobody cares. So, but just their ownership and like pouring the candles and then going in the next day, seeing like, oh, look, it's set perfectly. You know, sometimes I have to redo them. So, and we do have like some 4-ounce candles as well. This is our Cozy and Kind, which smells amazing. So we sell gobs of candles. They tell such a great story. They make an incredible gift. Awesome for the holidays. So this is a really powerful partnership and something that I'm so proud of, what we've been able to do, and Wedgwood's been incredible. They also, the survivors there, they assemble our essential oil roller balls.
Ooh.
We have 5 different ones, which is really cool. I'm in there all the time, so I get to, see the kids and talk with them, which is super cool.
And just for anybody who's listening, Wedgwood is a direct service provider in Grand Rapids here. And yeah, you can look on their website to find more about them. But yeah, they're awesome.
Thank you for,
Yeah.
I kind of get talking and I
you're
forget
good.
that everybody knows who these people are.
Mhm.
So that's one of our artisan partner groups. We have a group in Haiti, and we have 5 different clay bracelets that they make for us. And there's approximately 30 artisans that work on one bracelet. So they actually mine the clay, they roll the clay into beads, they fire it. So they put it in a kiln, they glaze it, they string it, they do the stamping of our logo on here. So really powerful project there. These women it's allowing women in Haiti to keep their babies. And so they're incredibly talented. If you're watching Haiti at all right now, it's really scary, the things that are happening there.
Right.
They've had to move all of their artisans out of their original workshop. We have an amazing group. This was a group I had met in New York City, in South Africa, and they do a lot of our beaded jewelry. And it's a mother and a daughter who started this organization. And originally it started on a farm where they would go and rescue survivors, local girls, and bring them in and teach them how to bead. And so powerful, so just really cool. But so they make a lot of our jewelry. This is one of the bracelets. It's made from lava stone. And so yeah, really, really cool stories that are happening with that. And it was fun. It was, I don't remember if it was last fall, but because of an order we had just placed, she, the girl that runs it, the mom, she was like, Heidi, because of your order, we just got to hire 4 more survivors. And I was like, oh, yes, this is so good.
That's awesome.
This is a new group for us in Uganda, these earrings. So these are
cute.
made from recycled horn. I know, aren't they so fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love working with new groups, finding new groups. So if you're watching, listening, and maybe you know of an artisan group somewhere in the world that we should consider, please let me know. Like, really reach out to us on social media, drop us a message, because
I'll be connecting with you after this, Heidi.
great. Awesome. These are made by survivors. These are a really good seller for us. These are made from recycled wood, so they're really lightweight. And these are made in Asia. These earrings and these 2 necklaces are made by the same group, and they provide approximately each 45 minutes of work per piece on average. Some of them are a little bit take a little bit longer, but for employment. And so we have a lot of products that are made by this group, actually, quite a bit of our metal jewelry, so, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then we have, how am I doing on time?
Good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a few more minutes. Yep.
Okay. So this is another different group in Haiti. It's interchangeable artwork, so it's seasonal. There's 4 different seasons. Isn't that cute? So it's banana paper, recycled, like they make the banana paper in Haiti. And then the little stands are made by a gentleman here in a wood shop, like making this for us. It's so cool. So this is a newer group for us too, out of Tanzania. So this is one of our skirts, which is it's beautiful. Lots of drama, so fun. I think it's all curled up here on the bottom, but anyways, these we have 2 skirts made by this group, and that order, they were so excited because the order we placed provided, they made in 2 weeks, because it took them 2 weeks to make it. They made in 2 weeks what they normally would make in 2 to 6 months.
Wow.
So, that's so exciting for us, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yes, and this is a new skirt for us too. This is made by a new manufacturer in India. So, and this material is all made of recycled products, and so any way that we can, like we like to use recyclable things. Not always possible, but we try to. Another one of our more popular product lines is our lip balms. So these are a lot of organic ingredients in these, made in the U.S. Tinted lip balm. Girls love that stuff, right? So yeah, we have a wide variety of products. Everything I'm wearing is crown free.
I was gonna say, I love you have such fun graphic t-shirts too. I love all your graphic tees.
Top seller for us, our graphic tees for sure.
I have bought many of them.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so grateful.
Oh, yeah.
Heidi, I have a couple of quick questions. So you had mentioned you'll place an order. So I was just curious, like how do these individuals get paid for their work? If you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So they set the price. They tell us, like, so I'll send them. The process typically is I a lot of times literally dream up the design. I sleep with a notebook in bed with me, and I'll sketch it out. The next day I'll sketch it out way better because you can't read what I tried to sketch in the middle of the night. It's I'll sketch it out, draw it out. I will send it over to whatever group I feel like I'm supposed to make that product with. And then I'll just say, hey, quote me this. What would this cost? And then, usually a couple days later, they get back with me with a price. They make a sample. I approve. And then usually I have to pay about half down for them to get started and then half when they ship it. So, but they set the price.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
And every organization that we work with too, like the artisans are paid above their living wages. For example, that Tanzania skirt, that is way above their national average for what you typically make. So we have one cuff, our friendship cuff, that's made by a group of refugee women women coming out of what's the word? I'm having a Wednesday. Foster care. Women coming out of foster care. They're paid $15 an hour. That's here in the States. So every organization that we work with, some do it per piece, some do it hourly, that sort of thing. So, but it's set by our artisan groups.
That's awesome. Which I do feel like many times when we hear about labor trafficking or exploitation in the fashion industry, a lot of times we hear that somewhere over here is pressuring, that company or that factory that this is the amount that we're going to pay you. So that means that the factory has to pay their workers less. And so I just listening to him like, man, this just flips the script. Like what a beautiful and empowering thing for all of them. Yeah.
And just this little quick sidebar. So sometimes we get products that are wrong from an artisan group, like they make it wrong. And we typically, what we do in that case, we have a section on our website called Perfectly Imperfect, and where you can buy those products at like a 60% discount. And that way we don't have to put the burden back on the organization to be out any expense like that. At least covers our cost of, making the product, and then we just remake it. So we try, we understand mistakes happen. A lot of the organizations we work with are smaller, some are just getting started. And so to have grace there, that's just another way that we can do that.
That's awesome. Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, we are starting to wrap up here on our time. So one question that I just wanted to throw out to all of us is, what is something that you wish that people knew about labor trafficking or Heidi, yeah, I mean, in your situation, I guess, yeah, labor trafficking in general, but maybe specifically for you in the fashion industry or whatever. But yeah, what is something that you wish that people knew?
I think just one thing to keep in mind, every product that you purchase tells a story. So what story do you want to tell? What story do you want to share? Are you proud to share that story? Or would you like wish that nobody knew that story and you don't want to share it? So I think if you think of it, that makes a lot more personal and a lot more powerful.
Whew. Can I quote you on that? That sounds like it could be a book.
That was totally a God thing right there. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah.
So that would be my little, yeah.
Anything you would add, Heather?
I feel like mine is very, like along those same lines. Like I think if there's anything when it comes to trafficking that I want people to know is to be reminded that a person is behind it. That and usually many people are behind it. When I pick up my phone, who knows how many hands were involved in making that. When I grab some granola to eat, or when I have a little chocolate from Halloween, or when I drink my coffee in the morning, when I put sugar in that coffee, when I put on the clothes, every single thing that I buy, there are real people with human hearts that are living right now, maybe, on the other side of the world, but who are alive and are real and are creating and making these products. I think, Heidi, just like what you're saying, when you recognize that there is a person and there's a face and there's a story behind it, it changes everything. It isn't, I think many times we can think, oh, it's just a robot or a computer making it, which sometimes there are, but most things have people involved in the supply chain.
Still a person operating the machinery.
Yeah, right. That's true. And that's true too.
Or there was intelligent people designing that machinery. And
How about you, Emily?
I mean, I like your answers. Those are two very powerful answers. We'll go with that. I think that's very, very sobering. It's in your face. And it makes you just want to learn more. Like, what products, what things do I use that are made with slave labor? And so definitely encourages you, inspires you to want to know more and to do something about it. Thanks for sharing your answers.
It's so empowering too. Like I feel like when I put on this cardigan, I'm like, this has a story to go with it. Like I feel so awesome wearing this. And I don't know, it just gives so much more meaning to maybe things that didn't have much meaning beforehand.
Well, we look at fast fashion. I mean, we didn't even talk about fast fashion today.
Yeah.
You buy these clothes you buy this shirt for $5 online, and then within 6 months it's got holes and stuff in it, and you throw it out. And were you ever really attached to it? No, it's just another shirt, and then it ends up in a landfill somewhere or is shipped over to Africa and is I think when we're getting to our last question, last couple questions. So what are some ways that people can get involved, and are there any other resources or just resources or things people could check out to learn more? The one thing I would say is there's a documentary called The True Cost, or literally if you just go on YouTube and look up labor trafficking or exploitation in the fashion industry, or just look up some videos, and there's tons of documentaries out there. Even on Netflix.
Yep. You can search it on Netflix. They've got documentaries on there. Amazon.
Eye-opening.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, uh, Well, Heidi, we really, we really, really want to encourage everyone that's listening to check out Crown Free, to go to your website. You guys are on Instagram, you guys are on Facebook. I love following you on social media because you guys have I love all your stuff that you guys have on there.
Aw, thank you. I have a great team. Great team. Very grateful.
Yeah. So please, please, please check out Crown Free on Instagram, on Facebook. We've tagged them on our social media. You can go to crownfree.com. Please check out all of their stuff. And Heidi, you'll talk a little bit more about our holiday shopping. But as far as just in general resources, please check them out. You can read more about the stories that go into these groups. And we're just so thankful for you, Heidi, and Crown Free, and that you guys exist. So yeah. Just for some even more just general information about labor trafficking, if you want to learn more about what's in your the products you buy, that kind of thing, there's a website called Slavery Footprint. And it's just kind of an inventory of your life and the things that you own and buy, and just helps to just continue to solidify and help you understand the breadth of it in your own life. We have created a couple resources and blogs for you guys. We have one that is just titled First Steps to Ethical Shopping. And our hope is that it's a really easy way to, I think when I first learned about all of this with labor trafficking, and I told Heidi this when we first got together, the fashion industry was really my first entrance into understanding human trafficking and what it was. And when I learned about it, I felt so paralyzed, like, oh my gosh, everything I see, everything I buy, like, what can I even buy? And so the hope is that this blog just helps anyone who maybe feels that way to be able to take those baby steps and start working toward what it can look like to start shopping ethically. We hope that it's an encouragement and empowering. Also, last year, we curated a list of ethical storefronts that are in Michigan. So please check that out and see if there are stores near you that you can check off your holiday shopping list at.
Maybe we need to expand that list to also web-based companies.
Oh, I thought about that. That would be so intense. I guess that would just require a lot more hours added to it, but that would be awesome. So yeah, those are just a couple things in general. Again, you can search documentaries. We have some more resources on our blog that you can check out. And please browse, check out all over Crown Free's website, and just be inspired by those stories.
I'm on Crown Free website now. It says host a pop-up shop. Heidi, what is that?
So if you want to gather a few friends in your home or somewhere, coffee shop, you can host a pop-up shop. A representative will come and bring product with to show it off, and then you can earn.
Oh no, we lost you.
Can't. Their mic isn't connected. Your mic got unconnected?
Sorry.
Oh,
okay.
There we go.
So sorry. My mom was just calling me. I think that's what's
okay.
Sorry, everyone. No, so yes, if you host a pop-up shop, you earn free and half price items based on your sales. So it's basically by having a little party in your home. So That's one way you can get involved. Yep. And then you can purchase right from our website. We are also in some stores. So if you know of a store that we should approach, let us know, because that's another way for us to make an impact. So, and then we do have some holiday specials. So if you click on our holiday tab on our website, we do have some holiday specials there, some gift sets and some holiday specific items, a holiday t-shirt. Yeah, just some fun things there. So you can check us out at crownfree.com.
Cute. Oh yeah, I love this stuff. That cute Christmas card.
Oh yeah, those are
love
awesome.
that.
Those
I'll
are
be wasting some time today online shopping.
Thank you, ladies.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And yes, as we have promoted this for all of you that are watching, we do hope that this is a help for you as you think about the holiday season, as you look at your Christmas list, and as you think about checking them off, that you can look for places like Crown Free to check your lists off at.
So good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Heidi. Thanks for everyone.
Yes. Thank you. You are awesome.
Thanks for having me, girls. It was so fun.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, everyone. Don't forget to share a cup of hope.